Here. Hello, hello. And I'm sorry if I sound like I'm talking softer. I'm in a coffee place in Spokane. Um, I feel like I've been back and forth. Well, I have been because I drove back and forth from Spokane Saturday and Sunday for a creative writing and improv class, which was a blast, which we might have to do a little improv in Costa Rica. And because there's a lot to be done about being present, because you can't think of what you're going to say. You have to be in the moment. It's pretty interesting. And then I drove here Monday to pick up my good friend Lindsay Gordon, and she spoke yesterday at an event at Gonzaga. And so I just spent the night, 2 nights, and then I have a networking thing tonight, and I'm emceeing something tomorrow. So it's one of those busy weeks. So thank you all for joining me. So I would like a win and something you were hoping that we touch on in our retreat in Costa Rica. And I don't mean catamaran or like bar hopping.
You don't mean like pool, sun, sand?
Well, we're gonna get some of that too, because we're gonna do some work around the pool. You better believe it.
Okay, so I'll go with my win, which is kind of a small win, kind of a big win. I cleaned my office on Sunday.
Yay! And you took down your old logo.
I did, because we're rebranding. That launches on Monday. So that's a painting that my son did. So I just put it up there in the meantime so that it wasn't a big blank wall. But I want to show you guys. Let's see. Can you see over there?
Yeah, you've got like pictures. Oh,
you might recognize some of them. The ones with my pink dress are with you guys in them.
Oh, yay.
My peach colored dress from when we were in Mexico. Those are like, I have like some of the like little photo booth ones are from conferences that I've done with other like people from the conferences. And then I have I have two of the pictures of all of us. I have one from Amira's thing in Atlanta, and then I've got a couple things like one of my employees sent me a Christmas card, so I've got her picture up there. So yeah, kind of rearranged a little bit. I cleaned up. I got rid of a bunch of stuff. I went through like all my stacks of paper and opened all the unopened mail that's just been laying around, and it felt so good.
Good, nicely done. And what's one topic or thing that you hope comes out of the April retreat?
I don't really have any expectations. I know we're talking about money. Oh, in light of that, one other win I'll just share with you guys, which sounds like a not win, but it actually is. We put an offer in on some land earlier this week, because we went on Sunday and we went and visited a bunch of lots with the realtor and put an offer in, and it was an assignment sale. So basically the person who had it listed was going to buy it from the seller and then turn around and sell it to us. And none of us were really sure about it, right? And so we were like, all right, and they told us they had two other offers. They said, we're going to put our offer in and then we're going to let it go. Like, if it's meant to be, it will happen. And it was not meant to be. They're going forward with another offer that came in higher, which is totally fine. It wasn't like our like dream lot. It was just a really nice lot. So in the meantime, I asked, and I was totally fine with it. Totally
unattached to it.
Yeah. So then I said, well, there's this other lot that's beautiful, but it's like way overpriced. What do you think about this? And she looked at it and she said, I said, do you think you could call the realtor and ask for like what the deal is? So she's like, I actually know this realtor. So yeah, I'll call and see what I can find out. Well, it turns out she had just had she had just inherited the listing from somebody who retired, and she had just had the conversation with the sellers that it was overpriced and they were gonna have to lower the price. So she had already kind of like primed the pump, and they were like, if you have like a number in mind, go ahead and submit an offer, but we're gonna be lowering the price probably very soon. And so my realtor today is out there looking at the property for us. She's gonna take some video and send it to us. So I feel like by not being so stuck on the first one, it allowed me to be open to the second one. And even if it doesn't work out, like just the possibility, the fact that I didn't lose my shit over not getting what I wanted the first time. Like, that's a win for me. It's all a win. I was like, nope, I'm just gonna take what there. If it doesn't work out, it means there's something better for me out there. And so
Yeah, and Pam, what a great example of how the universe works for us, right? Like, and when we let go and we're not choking it, like how it has space to breathe and it provides then what we do want. Well, good luck. Keep us informed.
yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, pass it on.
Carrie, you're up.
Oh, let's see. A personal win this week is that I was very sick and threw up a lot this week on Sunday night and Monday. And today I weighed the lowest I have weighed since like 2015.
Okay, you need to explain though how you explained it to me, like a 21-year-old birthday or something.
I threw up Sunday night like it was somebody's 21st birthday. So I've also been known to celebrate my own 21st birthday and other people's 21st birthday like it was my own. So it's been a rough week so far. I'm finally like back to myself. I told Debbie I was walking around the house singing The Little Mermaid, and my family's like, there she is, she's back. So I'm like over energized. So that was a win. We're just having fun with home stretch. One of my observations is that I was down and out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and things got really slow for home stretch. Even the people that we had in the pipeline were like, I think I want to wait. And then now I started feeling better on Wednesday, and no coincidence, Mark started getting phone calls and we got a consultation and somebody signed a, and I'm like back up to kind of like my high vibe. And it's like things are starting to roll. So I think it's an interesting observation about how my personal energy and physical wellness is translating to business happenings. I don't know.
Because you're a powerful manifester, my friend.
And Joni said that exact word to me today when I spoke with her too. So I feel like what would I like to see in Costa Rica might be like, let's figure out how to put this manifest and shit into better use than I'm doing it right now. Like, let's do it bigger and better. So,
okay.
All right, the show.
Hi. Okay, I just realized, Pam, that I never, like, my response to you never went through. So you inspired me to clean my bathroom. Like that, my husband like joke around that he's like, mom's home every time I'm like back from traveling because I have shit all over the counter. Because I didn't have like my organized like cabinets where my stuff could fit. Like it was ridiculous. And so I'm like, Pam like totally inspired me. So I reorganized entire master bathroom. So thank you for that. Another win is that I finished my Vivid Vision. Finally.
Can't wait to hear it.
And I just got to laugh because when we left from Mexico, when we got home from Mexico, you guys, I got Montezuma's Revenge, like the worst I've ever had in my entire life. I couldn't roll over in bed without shitting myself. It was so bad. I didn't lose a damn pound, Carrie.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm just giving you shit. But I was just like, yeah, anyway, it just made me laugh. So that's what I have going on. Yeah.
Anything you're hoping happens in April?
Yeah. I feel like this is a theme that keeps like coming with me. It's like I just really want to know how to be a good boss.
Awesome.
Did I show you this book? Accountability at Work.
No, you haven't.
Highly, highly recommend it if you're working with a team. We're reading it with our leadership team and in my team, and it has just, we've had amazing conversations about it. And it's just about like how to ask your team to do stuff, how to not just take yes for an answer, how to, like, if you're the one promising to get something done, how to ask the right questions and make sure that you're like mitigating risk and not agreeing to something just because you feel like you have to. And it's all about like the promise of like from the asker's perspective and the giver's perspective. And how do you become a person that is really can be counted on, and a person of integrity and a person of, you know, their word, who says, if I'm going to get it done, I'm going to get it done. And it's super short. It's like less than 100 pages. But it's been awesome. I mean, obviously it's not the only thing about being a good boss, but I feel like
Yeah.
it's a
I feel like this is just an interesting space for me because I feel like I've been a boss in like the healthcare space. And as a professor, I had students that I basically was their boss. But it's so different when I'm like building a ship, and you guys are all entrepreneurs, right? So it's like, I don't have it all figured out. And what I'm making now is not going to be the same as it is a year from now. And the lines I don't know. This has been really hard for me. This has been a really hard season of figuring out. And I'm in this transition. I think I told you guys this last week. Like, my big revelation from leaving Costa Rica is that I have been so afraid of taking other people for advantage that I just like let a lot of things go, or, you know, whatever. And it's like, I completely shifted up on its head. And now I'm like realizing that I'm the one that's probably being taken advantage of. And I'm like, isn't that interesting? Like, my self-worth has just been like, I don't know, it's weird. And so I'm just trying to navigate all of it. So.
Yeah, so two things on that. Pam, I think I recall too in that book, it talked about setting expectations, like being clear about that too. And I think that would be a good hit for you, Lachelle. And then, because part of it is as you're figuring it out, setting the expectation that, hey, we're figuring this out, right? Like, and here's kind of where I'm at now, but that may change. And one of the things too that I would recommend to you, and you and I too can talk offline a little bit more too from a leadership perspective, but these two ladies have a lot of experience, is this idea too that I think looking at and listing out like all of the things that are frustrating you now and feeling like you're being taken advantage of, because you got to clean up that energy, right? Because then you can go into it and say, here's how I do business, right? Like, so as an example, part of, and I'm going to answer part of your text here, part of what I do with my team is they work so many hours a week for me, and I just pay them the same amount every month. And I say to them, you manage your time, you're a contractor, but I'm not paying you to listen to my podcasts. I'm not paying, you know, like when you come to my events, you are taking part as a participant, and that's a bonus. But I also know that you're spending, you know, 18 hours away or 24, whatever, how many hours it is, 48 hours away from your family. And so I get it if the week after there's a bunch of follow-up, and there's going to be some weeks that you don't work 15 or 20 hours for me, and then other weeks that you're working 25 or 30, and I expect you to manage that. But I had to get really clear, and I'm getting ready to have the conversation with Sarah around like the whole, that's why I brought it up very first about, I'm not paying you to listen to my podcasts, right? Like we're going to use AI, and then like you grab some snippets out of that versus spending 25 to 30 minutes listening and me paying you to listen to the podcast, right? And so things are going to continue to get clearer for you, and sometimes that's going to change, and that's okay.
I'm just learning that I am so, and Joni and I talked about this, like, I just have to learn to forgive myself for figuring it out.
Totally.
Goodness sakes, I'm getting emotional with this for some reason. I just yeah, it's just interesting.
Well, and I might offer up to you too, Rochelle, that you had it figured out and it was working for you the way it was, but now things have shifted, And so it's not a
Right.
matter of you beating yourself up. It's just, it worked at the time. And now there's some changes in your business that's causing it not to work. And it needs to change. And that's okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I'm taking accountability for like my role in any confusion, my role
Yeah.
in any expectation that I didn't acknowledge, that I wasn't being clear in, because maybe I didn't know, or maybe I was afraid. But yeah, I had a really, really tough conversation with my assistant last week after I got a lot of pep talks from you guys, and it was good. And then just another question was brought up again, and I'm just like, fucking A, like clearly we're revisiting this again. It's like
Hmm.
but I want to make sure that I have clear expectations, which is why I'm trying to benchmark with other people. Like, what are other people doing so that I can understand where I'm out of, I just want to be a good boss. And I want us to grow, and I want her to grow, and I want all of this to work out. So anyway.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think just even being that vulnerable and sharing that with her, Lachelle, but then also like as you're benchmarking with people, like having a really clear idea of how you want that to run, right? Like if you want it to be a bonus for her to go to these events and be a participant, like she is doing some work, but you're paying for certain pieces of it, like that's a bonus for her, right? Like some of the things we used to do was we would do total compensation at the end of the year. So their total compensation is not what they were making hourly. It included, like in our case, it's different, but like benefits, and it included like if they got their birthday off and this and that. So like when I do total comp for Sarah and Meredith, I show them here's what I'm paying you, but then here's the bonuses. Like you get to come to this event. I'm paying Meredith's way to Costa Rica, right? Like all of those things then go in as a total compensation piece to show them the additional value.
And that's kind of why, and can I just be real with you guys? Like,
Please, yeah.
like I have such a big heart. And so why this resentment has been like so strong. But it's like I have given her, just even before Costa Rica, I'm like, here's a $500 bonus. I really appreciate everything that you're doing. So I'm very generous with her.
Mhm.
I pay her, in my opinion, more than what she's worth. She came out of the gate charging $35 an hour as a VA that has no experience. To me, that's too much,
Yeah.
in my opinion. And now she wants more hours. And I want to get the courage to say to her, I'd be happy to give you more hours at $30 an hour.
Yep.
I should have started her at 25, and I was too chicken because I see, I teach people how to charge for their worth. And then here I am telling you you're not worth what you're trying to charge me. So it felt like a contradiction. And so I just went with what she was charging, and now I'm resenting it. Right. And so it's like, I gift her things. She got to go to Costa Rica. I paid her way there. And I'm giving her gifts. Like I coach her. And then she's like charging me to sit on my group coaching calls that she's getting coached on. And I'm getting pissed about it. And so I'm just like, okay, like, am I out of line here?
Yeah.
No. And I think the forgiveness exercise, like list all of that down, Michelle, so you can clean up the energy, but that will also help you be very clear and say, you know what, let's have a frank conversation, right? Like, here's some things that I just didn't think about or just didn't realize. And I know you want more detail. So let's talk about detail. Here's how I'm going to do business. But you have to do that in the manner too, like with compassion, obviously, which you do, but knowing that she may decide that that's not for her. And that's okay. Then you just find somebody.
Like, this is very telling that I'm like, I kind of don't care right now. And that's not like, that's very telling, isn't it?
Well,
And who do you guys know? Like, who can I hire?
and I feel like my red flag, Lachelle, is when you said the word resentment. And I had a manager that I definitely began to resent and kept on way too long and should have gotten rid of 2 years before I did anything about it. And like, that's a big regret for me because resentment's also a hard emotion, like to get through in a work relationship. Like I want to believe, because I believe in God and forgiveness and everything else, that you can work through that. but like there's some hard conversations with that $35 an hour. If you feel like you're paying her too much and she doesn't want to accept less, like that's going to create resentment on her side, and you're resenting, like, so that's like a fundamental thing. So, and that, I feel like that's going to get in the way of Lachelle's upward trajectory, because that feeling is going to overshadow.
Yeah, it's really interesting to me that these are all things that I didn't see before. And so I know that I'm shifting.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, but I clearly, I updated my computer last night. Can you tell?
Yeah, and so Lachelle, in that same vein, right? Like I'm a firm believer too. Like if you can clean up your energy and then have a very frank conversation with her, then she has the choice to get on the bus. And if she does, then awesome, because then you have that like knowledge. But then it's about being very clear. But if there's more to it than that, or she like starts to like try to negotiate some of that, then you can say, you know, this is how I want to do business going forward, and it may or may not fit for you, and that's okay, right? And I'm happy to help you like find some other people to work with or whatever.
Is that appropriate for me to say, you know, I don't know where she got this $35 an hour. Like she was a teacher with a master's degree, but that doesn't mean you get to come in to a job that you don't have any experience with, that I've trained her on. What?
So part of the resentment is around that, and being mad at yourself for paying that up front.
Me. Yes,
So,
I'm mad at myself. Yes.
Yeah. So I wouldn't necessarily bring that up with her, right?
No.
Because that's your thing. But then talking to her about like, hey, for this much a month, like here's the things that I'm expecting out of this. And that's not like you're being bonused to come on and be coached as a client, right? Like part of this is a client, you coming to a call and being coached. And so like I would just be really clear, like clean up your energy, be really clear on what you want out of that role, because that will also help you if she ends up leaving or you end up deciding that it's not the right fit for her. And you can absolutely say that to her. And then you have something to go forward on. And I need to introduce you to Stephanie Straight.
Please do.
She used to actually work for my coach, Amira, and she's a rock star. Like she knows like content development. She is like all about the back end part of the business.
Yeah, please do that.
I have no idea what she charges, but she's very capable and knows a lot. So
okay, thank you.
She worked with Amira, probably a lot.
Yeah.
Probably charged a lot.
Yeah. Yep.
Introduce her
And
anyway.
get to her before I continue to coach her to raise her prices. So I'll introduce you.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the contradiction, isn't it? That's why I felt
No,
but you know what I'm saying?
There's a
but see,
difference
here's
though
what's really
between
cool.
getting what you're
Oh, go ahead.
worth and overcharging for what you're worth.
You're right.
Right?
That's a
Yeah.
really good point. And
Yeah.
I think I just was too afraid to say you're not worth this. But that's the VAs typically start in the United States at $20 to $25 an hour. And I think it's great to work up to 35 or more. But it's an expectation that I shouldn't have to train you up to that point then, right?
But here's the deal. Like you got to erase all of that, right? Because that's part of the resentment. Because all this is an awesome learning opportunity for you that when you're, because I get that, right? Like I'm constantly telling people charge what you're worth. But in this case, then part of, I think, why you're beating yourself up and I'm putting words in your mouth is that you feel like it's contradicting your coaching when in fact you can say, look, there is a point in time, like you have to look at, like part of it is researching what other people doing your job are charging and doing. And as you're learning, you're going to start out at this amount. And then as you continue to learn more and more, you can then expect more.
Yeah.
And so was it either Pam or Lachelle, one of you two, talk to me about making sure that when I have a job, I have the job and then I find the person to fit it. So I'm defining the job and I'm defining the role and I'm defining the pay structure. And so it feels like we've got the person and the money and then we're trying to get him into the job, right? So
And she fit the job at the beginning, but not anymore.
right. So yeah. That's
It also
just.
sounds like she wants to behave like a contractor. And you want her to behave like an employee. So there's something there because contractors want to charge for every second of everything they do, right? And they don't. And it depends on the contract, right? Like just like it depends on your employment agreement. But like in accounting, you can find somebody to do your books for $25 an hour, and I'm going to charge you $125 an hour. But what I bring to the table for $125 an hour is a whole hell of a lot more than somebody who's
Right.
charging 25.
Yeah.
And I think that's where you're getting at is like,
Yes. And I think that like when we started, it was more of a relationship of like, she believed in everything I was building and I believed in her. And I'm like, let's do this together. And the more money I make, the more I want to pay you. Like I wanted to get to a point where I was paying her $100,000 a year. I wanted to spoil the hell out of her. But if that's the case though, then I don't want to be nickel and dimed. It's like, I want her to have that same philosophy. And maybe that's expecting way too much. And that's why I'm just like, this is such a navigation. I'm such a big picture thinker. And I've never been the kind of person in any job I've ever held to just do the bare minimum. That's just not who I am. And so it's just hard for me to,
Yeah.
so I don't want to take
And
up all.
it's her. Well, the show today is about you because you're getting ready to do your vivid vision too. So, but when you think about like in a good way, but when you think about too, like what's happening with her right now to get into this nickel and dime stuff.
Well, she
Like to me, that's where I'd want to get into the depth of that. Like what else is happening for her that she's doing that? Or has she always been that way?
She has always been in scarcity, but I've worked with her. Like she's definitely like in a totally different place than she was, but she's always had this scarcity. And whenever she gets into a desperate energy, she behaves in this manner. And so, again, like here's another example that I'm just like, I need to let go of this. But so she came on a group coaching call, and she was down and out because she feels like she doesn't have all the money she needs. So everybody on the team, all my clients are like cheering her on. Fine, whatever. And then, so I reached out to her. I'm like, hey, here's the deal. Like this may be for you, maybe not, but these drops that I've been using, people that have been telling me about it have been profiting $500 just like that. And I can have them connect with you and teach you exactly how to do it. Well, how much could I get them for? Like from me, like she wanted a discount. I just gave you like the fish, the pole, or I gave you the pole, the boat, the worm, girlfriend. Yeah. What? And so I can't handle the victim part of it. And so I'm like, don't come on my call complain that you don't have any money and then not be willing to do something. And then you want something more from me to make it even easier for you. And I'm just like, this isn't working.
Yeah. So bottom line, tell me if this resonates with your gut, and then I want to hear your vivid vision, is the fact that ultimately, I think the two of you know that you've outgrown her.
Yeah.
Right. And you can handle somebody with scarcity to a certain degree as you're building, because she was also a cheerleader for you. But now as you start to grow and like continue to get bigger, that scares them. And in some ways, like subconsciously, almost like this foresight of knowing that as you get bigger, she's not going to be a fit for that. Right. So then she starts to come into the nitty gritty, knowing that that's going to drive you nuts, because then she can stay in the victim mode, knowing you're going to have the conversation with her. It's just what it is.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Done.
Yeah. Hopefully that helped. Carrie had something she wanted to add.
Well, several of my friends in the DSP community use Belay, Belay, for some overseas virtual assistant. And my friend Heather has one that I just texted her to see if I can get some more information about them. So just trying to help.
Thanks, girl. Yeah, I love you guys. Thank you. I'm so excited I get to spend some time with you in a couple of weeks.
I know, it's going to be so much fun. And Michelle, I'll send, it'll probably be this weekend, but I'll shoot an email to you and Stephanie and introduce you. And then I'll text you and let you know I sent the email, because if you're like me in the 1,700 emails that I have in my inbox. So
Mexico on Saturday. So thank you for that. So that I know to watch for it. So
yeah. Because if you have somebody else in your back pocket too, it makes it easier for you to go in with clean energy and just say, hey,
And
this has worked great. But I think it's important, Lachelle, for you to understand that having her at the beginning and having her dig into Simplify, which is not an easy system, and doing all of that work for you worked at the time, right? It just doesn't work anymore because you're growing and changing.
well, and the thing about Simplify is that I taught her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. Okay.
We're
Okay.
going to talk offline though, because I want you to clean up that energy for you so that it maintains the relationship, right?
Yeah, of course, because I care
Yeah.
about her. I just
Yeah.
and then there's of course that imposter syndrome. Like, shit, if I have somebody fancy coming on board, they're gonna know all the mess that this is.
I understand that. Yep. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. So I'll tell you
yeah.
guys my win today, just really quickly. So I met with this man. His name is Frank Swoboda. He was just recently on my podcast. He does a branding company and does like high-end filming. And so I don't trade very often. And so I talked to him about doing a trade. So he's coming on as a private client, and I'm going to get, you know, thousands and thousands of dollars worth of video, like high quality edited video stuff, which I'm really excited about. I have no idea really what I'm getting. Meredith is going to have the conversation with him, but which is exciting to me. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, Lachelle, take it away. Tell us.
I'm
gonna
kind of
allow you to
nervous
share your
because
screen.
it's kind of like I got naked first and then I stepped on stage. That's how I feel right now.
Well, you're with safe people, so
Safe space.
and keep in mind too, Lachelle, like we've all done this, and I know you were part of it too. So you just tell us, like, if you're wanting something different. But what I kind of anticipate is, I'm so glad I'm not the only one with 18 different Chrome user IDs. But like, tell us what you're wanting from this. But my hope would be is that like each time you go through a slide, let's ask everybody if they have feedback or if it says what you're wanting it to say, and then we'll go through that.
That sounds amazing. And I just because I can't be like everybody else, I'm not doing slides.
Good.
So
And can you guys hear the music? Like, I'll mute when she's talking, but okay, because I've been worried that you can hear the music. Okay.
I can be your tech support and tell you how to get this out into slides, but that's sometime if you'd like.
yeah, I just chose not to
Okay.
because I just didn't. So this is how I'm doing it.
I
Okay?
love how you do photo shoots. You are so good at photo shoots. And I just realized like my hair now looks like you too. It's like single white female.
All you need is a hat, Debbie.
Oh, I have 3 of them that
Can
she
you
just
guys
happens
be
to
my
own.
safe buddy while we're in Costa Rica, just in case she tries to crawl in bed with me? So, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Okay. So yeah, I would love for you to be I'm moving you got your beautiful faces somewhere else here. I would love for you guys to just point out anything that that I should know. And again, like I'm just gonna be me and real for just a second. Like this is like a vision of where I want to be, and I feel like super vulnerable to be like so just far from that a couple minutes ago. So I'm just gonna put it out there so I can clear that energy from myself. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
so-
that's perfect, Lachelle. And that's one thing, like, as you go through this with all of us, right? Remembering that this is our 3-year out vision, right? We're not there today, and it's okay. So don't look at the gap because you've come a long way, and this is where we're heading next. It's just the map. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So this is my brand. And so coaching and consulting with Dr. Lachelle Weemy. I am Life by Design is my company. And the titles that I'm holding are keynote speaker, best-selling author, peak performance coach, business strategist, vision caster, teacher, manifester, daughter of the king, and lighting the way. And maybe I'll make this just a little bit smaller just so you guys can see the big picture first. And then, so my whole goal with my company is to create massive forward momentum. So Lachelle and the I Am Life by Design team empower women in business to achieve massive forward momentum. Lachelle and her team stretch the client's belief in what is possible by empowering her to acknowledge her own superpowers, blind spots, and solutions so that she can make more money in less time and spend more time doing what she loves. The formula that we use involves choice, confidence, connectedness, clarity, consistency, and conquering. And the results lead to clients feeling empowered, courageous, hopeful, equipped, fulfilled, and rested. Do you guys want me to stop? Do you have anything to add? Should I keep going?
Let's just take a moment for each slide and let people give comments or what you want. I mean, we can do the first two in this
Okay,
case,
yeah.
but
Okay.
Carrie, Pam, thoughts?
I'm inspired right now. So I love all of your titles and your vision. So
And all of your pictures and like it goes together so well.
yep.
Thank you.
I know I kind of like to use you as an example for people thinking about photo shoots, right? Because you're on point. Like you have so many cool photos to put in here that really, to me, also like express so much without words.
Mm.
Like go back,
Yeah.
because that picture when you're looking at the camera where you're on the steps in Mexico, like that's somebody leading their life by design, right?
Yeah, and that's kind of what the feeling I wanted to give is like a polished look. Like this is me in Costa Rica a couple months ago, like on my phone with my computer, like working from whatever.
Yep.
You know, I want people to feel empowered. Live a life by design is kind of, yeah, what I want people to feel. Okay.
Yeah, and the idea of massive forward momentum, right?
Success in motion.
Oof, like it.
Anything else? You want me to keep going?
Go, girl.
One thing I'm going to
It's
point out.
funny because I keep trying to move your slides up,
I
and I'm
know,
like,
right?
wait, that's not my screen.
And one thing I will point out that this is cool is that Lachelle and the I Am Life by Design team. So I hired my first coach. I don't know if I told you this, but I hired my first coach that's working for me now. So look at me going. So, and she's lovely. So I'm not talking about her at all. Okay. All right. So our culture, we want to be the best in the world for forward momentum and designing our best life. We're intentional, empowered, and empowering, forward thinking, service focused, honors personal accountability, high vibes and positivity, clear communicators, resourceful, out of the box thinking, determined, growth minded, guided by a higher power, and deep connections. So that's the culture that I'm trying to cultivate with my team members and between ourselves and our clients. Our brand pulls women into a more powerful and successful versions of themselves. It inspires belief around what is possible. So I want my brand to feel very polished and showcase what success feels like, inspiring, empowering, positivity, high vibes, real, authentic connection to others, our values, and God. And kind of my hashtag is truth with a hug. So tell you what you need to hear with a hug. Okay, thoughts on this?
I love it. You can totally feel it.
And I think what I love about this too is it's just so authentic to who you are and who we know you to be. So I think it's easy for somebody to put words on a paper and not necessarily feel true at the same time. And it definitely feels true and authentic with you.
Yeah. And I love the succinctness of it, right? Like you don't need a lot of fluff words in there because you're not about the fluff. It's like getting to it. Yeah.
Okay. The team. It's my dream team right here. So client experience director. They support clients to feel loved, seen, and supported. She's highly organized and handles all client activities, including onboarding, tech support, and runs the back end of live launches. She also manages a team of VAs that support the Spiral Up clients. So that's my vision, is that I have a team of VAs that can help support my clients who need that. Marketing, creates and schedules social content, produces reels, TikToks, creates email news. Video producer, creates high-level YouTube videos with growth producing keywords. Publicist, gets me booked on podcasts, keynotes, interviews, magazines, and awards. A VA team, affordable team that supports client needs. Expert coaches, fills in for me and offers additional high-end support to clients. Podcast producer, creates content strategy, show notes, and promotes strategy to increase ranking and funnel.
That's cool. Can I ask a question?
Ah.
I love this idea of like part of what you're doing is kind of creating a subset of your business where you have high quality VAs that you're then providing to them as they scale up, is what I'm hearing you say.
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Yep. That would be great. I just need to find the right VA who wants that same vision.
Yeah. And eventually, like whether a client, it would be this, and then it would be paying you almost then as additional income. Once they finish their client contract, then they can continue on with the VA or go hire someone else, but they've had experience with the VA, learned as they went along to
Yeah.
then know what
So
they
like
want to hire. Yeah.
I
Love that.
all of the VAs that are within my company have been taught the same systems that I teach my clients.
Mhm.
So there isn't that learning curve of you having to train your VA. Like they already know everything that I teach. And so that, and I trust them, and they're at a price point that my clients can afford when they're starting out. So that's what I would
Yeah,
love.
that's great.
Okay. Our services, aligned to support success in motion. Let's see, a series of books aimed to empower and equip, keynote speeches serving direct sales and Christian women, expansive digital course suite for mindset and skill set, group coaching and community support, high-level executive coaching for ambitious women, luxury international retreats, and certification opportunity for mastering manifestation. That's my next project. Super excited about it.
That feels on brand from our conversation today.
I know, right? And then this is where my little like insecurity comes in, because this is pretty big goals. So I would love to see $2 million a year in revenue, $1 million net profit after paying support staff 6-figure salary. Like that's what I would love. Primary income source from signature group program and digital courses, 1.2 million, speaking 150,000, manifesting certifications 350,000, luxury retreats 80,000, and high level one-on-one coaching 220,000. Our client, oh, do you want me to stop there? Sorry, this is like super I don't know, vulnerable and
Scary for you. Yeah. Yeah. And so now the next step, if you haven't already done it, is to then back engineer. Okay, if I want to get to 2 million, how many speaking engagements 3 years from now? So it'll be an uncomfortable amount that you're potentially asking for to speak compared to what it would be today.
right.
Right.
No, yeah. So
Yeah.
I've definitely thought about all of those things. So
Good.
yeah.
Because
Yep.
this is so doable. Yeah. This is awesome.
Yeah. So all of these numbers were from calculations that I did that I thought was a stretch, but doable. Okay. Our clients. Hey, okay. Our clients, they say that we are the best in the world at building forward momentum. Our clients and my audience appreciate that they are empowered to build success with the gifts that they already have inside of them. They achieve success beyond their expectations and are enjoying true freedom to be, do, and have everything they desire. 2030. What I see is traveling is like the big thing that I would love to see in 2030. Family time is enjoyed at our beach rental property. So I would love to buy a beautiful beach home in maybe North Carolina. where I host retreats and then get to use that as an investment property. And then Andy and I are planning our cruise around the world. That's what I'm thinking. Freedom, our house is paid off. My team runs much of my business without me, and I am present for Leighton's last few years in high school. And that's it. So.
I love it. I love it. Well done.
Yeah, I do too. And so this 2030 is the next, so like within 6 years, you want to be able to be traveling, have your cruise around the world, have that freedom to step away. I think, yeah. Pam, what'd you have to say? You came off.
Oh, I think it's great. Like, I say come to North Carolina, you can be my neighbor.
Okay. Yeah, so do you guys have any feedback for me? Like, I guess, like, thank you for the compliment, Carrie, of this feels authentic to me. Do you guys sense this from my brand? If you see any stuff on like my podcast or my social media or anything like that, am I on brand with this vision?
For sure.
Yeah. Well, and I would ask you, Lachelle, do you feel like you're on brand?
I do, but sometimes, you have to make sure that other people are seeing what you want them to see. So
Totally. I just wanted to make sure there wasn't some kind of niggle within you that thought you weren't being on brand. Because to me, it feels very authentic for what you do and how you want to show up in service to the world.
yeah. So I would say, like, in the last year, I've probably really stepped into like, this photo shoot here it's like when I really started to go from the approachable girl next door to, I just don't know what that is, but I want that. Like that's kind of where I want to take people to what's possible. Come on, let's do this kind of thing. That's what I want for people. I don't want it to come across as like flashy, arrogant, or anything like that. I want it to just be possible. Does this give you that vibe?
Totally. And for me, it shows too that you're at that photo, or you were a little while ago, and something else shifted for you. And now you see the possibility. That's the beauty of doing these vivid visions, right? Because then you actually see the possibility. And just like you said, there's certain parts that are a little scary, right, as you come to them. But it's that excitement that's there. And now you can see past the year, right? And you can start to see past 3 years and like even the high level kind of things around 6 years, because then that becomes somewhat of your kind of North Star guiding compass, right? Is what you're doing feeding into these values? Is it feeding into that? It doesn't mean that the structure can't change. You might decide to change and go more speaking and less this, or like more books, or like that kind of stuff can shift. But like your core, what you stand for and why you're doing what you're doing, it's pretty obvious in that. And that's what then will guide you as you continue to go forward.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
And I think the exercise of writing it down and breaking it out into the pieces helps you as you think about what do I need to do next, and creating the team of virtual assistants. Actually like having you write that out in here helps to clarify my understanding when you're talking about your current VA, is that part of it is that you wanted to love her and have her be in this role. And maybe your intent was for that first person to be your manager of all the VAs. And then there's some frustration that she's not. So like, it sort of like brings that piece together from my understanding.
It's like, I see what she's capable of, but she can't see it yet. And I am at the point where I just can't devote all of my energy to getting her there when I want to keep moving. Does that make sense?
Oh, I just saw something on Instagram that said we have to love people for who they are today, not for who we think they can be. And that would have saved me a whole marriage. So
That's okay. Brought you to Mark, right?
That's right. That's right. Well, and to that point, right? Like that's the beauty of understanding, like even when you're working with clients, but also that that's that beauty of what you needed from her. You did get really good things out of her. There were some things that kind of got under your skin, but it worked for the time. And now that time has changed because you see a bigger vision for the role that she's in right now. And that's okay. It just may mean a different person.
Thank you.
You said something about the going around the world cruise, and I just want to say that I'm currently obsessed with around the world airplane tickets that you can buy for not that much money and
Oh,
planning them out. And I said to Mark, I said, so in like 5 or 10 years, I would like to travel around the world for like 6 months, and we can be like over 50 bloggers while we travel bloggers while we do that. And he says, because he is 6 years younger than I am, he says, I'm going to be 50. And I said, yes, honey, I'm sorry. You're going to be 50. So it's so funny that you wrote that on yours today. So I just had to share that.
yeah. No, it was fun. I had to think about where are my kids at in this space? Because I'm not ready to travel any more than I am now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and so let me ask you all, and Kathy, if you're listening to this, I'd be interested to hear your take on this too, because I found it really interesting. And I use this now as an example. I mean, I don't say your names, but I talk about how, like, and I remember doing this myself, but I had the opposite effect on the back end, was how our brains start to squirrel out because we get nervous about seeing the possibility, right? And it's like, oh, I've got to put it, whether it's we feel caged in, which we don't. That's the beautiful thing to me about these vivid visions, is it's not like a step by step, here's like the tactical business plan of we need to get to point B. It's more of like the overarching. So if anyone read it, if anyone heard us talk about it, employees, like Meredith just hired somebody to help her with client work, and she's working on 2 clients and on one of them. And so she shared the vivid vision with her. So she understood like where we're heading, what that vision is for the future. And so it doesn't mean that it can't be changed, but it gives that, like, just the overall look and feel of it, and the ideas of who you are, and it helps create that. How do I want to say it? Carrie, you were talking about like just even the exercise of writing it down, right? And then your subconscious already starts with it. I think particularly, Carrie, about you talking about at the very beginning in Mexico, even, and as you were writing your vivid vision about having multiple streams of income, and bam, right? Like you open up to it and here it comes, right?
Can I ask you guys real quick, because I may be in this space very soon where I'm hiring another team member. If I were to show them this, did I demonstrate a clear enough culture of what I want in somebody that would, as a generality, or could that have been more clear?
I think it paints the picture well, but I think you also need to have a very clear, like, if you're hiring a contractor, you can't really call it a job description, but you can say like, these are the things that I need from the contractor that I hire. And be clear, like Debbie was saying at the beginning, like, I'm not paying you to listen to my podcast, right? I'm not paying you to sit through a coaching call. These are the things, and you have to spell those things out. Like, I don't think the vision is enough, but I think that vision that you presented will definitely resonate with the right person, right?
Well,
Somebody who's not sure of themselves, or somebody who's not kind of trying to fake it till they make it, will likely be intimidated by it because it's so clear, and it's like, oh, I'm not there yet. Right. So
well, and I'd have to look back through the vision, because you said our culture is this. And then when we talked about our team, we laid out the positions, but maybe there's something to be said for what are the attributes of somebody on your team, because you may.
Kind of what I was trying to do with that,
Yeah.
and so that's why I kind of asked that, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no, let's look back at that.
Because these are kind of the attributes that I want them to have. I want them to be very intentional. I want them to feel empowered, but be empowering also. I want them to be forward thinking. I want them to be service focused. Like, these are attributes that I I want them to honor personal accountability. Like victimhood is not like welcome here, right? High vibes, positivity, clear communication, resourceful, determined, growth-minded. This is the kind of person I want. And the tasks are different. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I think if from my perspective, and this is a critique of Carrie, because what I'm really good at is selling you on why you want to work for me. And so if you show this to somebody in the interview process, you just gave them all the answers. And so I would want to interview them to find out if they hold these qualities before I shared this vivid vision with them. This would be part of like I've already determined that they hold these qualities and I want them to be on my team. And then when we are onboarding or the final offer later in the process, then I would say, let me share this with you because this is where I want us to go. And like, we need big dreamers on our team. So that's just
Yeah,
my,
and to that
Yeah.
same thing, Carrie, two things that I want to say here, Lachelle, is I wouldn't go through this with somebody that I'm interviewing.
Okay.
But what I would do is talk about like the culture of this group is like, I need people to be thinking at a high level. I need for people to be open to feedback. But that's after you've asked the questions. And I would create questions designed based on some of the current interviewing stuff. And I can walk through that with you if you want to, but like, tell me about a time when you felt really empowered and at the same time you empowered other people.
Mhm.
What happened? What did you do in that situation? And if they say we, you're like, so was this a team or was this you? Like, can you be specific about what action you took? And then what was the result of that? Like, I would create questions around these behaviors that you want in people to find out those true things. And then when you're onboarding new employees, talk about the vision. Now, the thing I would do too is make sure, like, whatever works for you all, but like in the, like, you know, when it's a slide, you have notes that you can do, or whether you do a video that's for the onboarding process, because I think there's a lot of wording that you're talking about that isn't necessarily completed on the PDF or whatever it is that you have there. And I would also go so far as to, when you're onboarding and talking about those values of what you're looking for, making sure that you're like, I would suggest this of all of us, that making sure that if you're doing a video or reviewing it with people, that you explain what empowered means to you. Because that's just like my friend that says, this black diamond is easy. I'm like, your definition of easy and my definition are very different, right? And so making sure and most of the words that all of us use about culture are interpretive, right? Like we interpret them based on our experiences. So making sure that you take that and give them examples of what you mean by that and get really clear on those definitions. Because someone may feel empowered by, oh, I get to do whatever I want to in these hours, but I'm going to break it down and get nitpicky about the hours, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you
Yeah.
for that. That's great. You guys, thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, thank you guys. And thank all of you for being brave. I know, hence the whole like, oh, we're not ready. And it was 2 weeks later, but I don't care. It happened, right? Like, because, and I'm not talking just about you, Lachelle, everybody had like stuff, right? Like Kathy had the surgeries, other people had, and it's just the way our brain is scared, right? To think about the future and the possibilities. And so thank you for being brave to do that. And I would recommend to you that every year you take a look at this. Like for me, it's a living, breathing document, because there might be shifts. Like part of Meredith and I are meeting for 2 hours today to talk about like, do I eventually scale this where I have program coaches run an entire mastermind and I do 2 retreats, but I'm like the main stage speaker for certain pieces and they go off and do their own thing, right? Like, how do I scale this? So that changes a little bit of that vision, right? So like keep this as something that continues to morph as you go, but also be gracious with yourself to say, I put it out there. And now it's about recognizing too in like what happens in your body or thoughts, like the monkey chatter, like what comes up for you, because then those are some of the binds that we need to work through too. So
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys. I'm so excited. I will tell you, I went to go book the catamaran, and then I'm like, no, I'm on an unsecure network at the hotel, so I'm booking that this weekend, and I'm super excited about that. And then I'm also going to take some of the things that you guys talked about here and infiltrate some of that, but it's not very far away, and I'm so excited. So
Oh, I will tell you, NordVPN, you can download it and then you can work on any network. And it
what's it called?
masks Nord, Nord
Okay.
VPN.
Thank
I mean,
you.
there's other ones too. That's just one that I
Yeah.
use when I travel. So if I'm in an airport or if I'm in a hotel, a coffee shop, another country, whatever, it masks like where you are so people can't get
Yeah.
in and get your stuff.
Well, and I
And
know my
it's cheap.
phone
It's like
has a
$5,
VPN.
like $5 a month or something. Like it's cheap.
Okay, so you do that on your Mac. Your Mac doesn't have a automatic. Okay, because I just thought, oh, my phone has an automatic VPN thing, but okay, cool. Well,
Yeah,
ladies,
and
it
you
was
can use it on your phone and your Mac, and you can put it on multiple devices. You can put it on your iPad. You can put it on whatever. So,
perfect.
yeah.
Thank you. Because usually I just stay away from banking stuff when I'm on different things. But anyway, and I found out some really cool, super cybersecurity AI stuff at this conference yesterday that I'll share with you guys too.
Sweet.
So anyway, okay, love y'all. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.